Do the Irestore hair helmets work? And does the white professional one work better than the black elite one, or vice versa? This is a non-sponsored review after using these for 2+ years. My experience, not with my hair loss because we've already spoken about that, but with these two different devices, because as someone who's been losing my hair, I look on the internet all the time for new hair growth solutions, right? A couple things that I know have been working, but we're gonna talk about the nitty-gritty details here, and then a couple things that I've been considering. But whenever I look for hair growth solutions, there are many different helmets that are not Irestore that also pop up, but these are the ones that I've been using. And I've used these regularly, specifically this one, since I think it was 2022. I originally heard about it in 2021. It was a dermatologist named Dr. Dre, who I love. If you don't watch her, you need to. But I sat on the idea of getting this for almost 2 years because of how expensive it was. And in early 2022, after thinking about it all of 2020 and all of 21, I finally got it. But recently I've upgraded to this. And when I say upgraded, I mean upgraded, because the cost difference is intense. This is almost 2 times as much as this one. But I want to share with you the differences, the nuances, and bring you my review as someone who has literally been losing my hair but been regrowing it, and also sharing the different specs of these different devices, why this one has more LEDs and diodes versus this one, and if that actually justifies the price. And again, this is non-sponsored, and at the time of filming this, it is late January, early February 2024, so that you can see my hair. And over the past 2 years, I do believe that this helped with my hair, specifically keeping it and helping regrow it, but I stopped using this the last 6 months of 2023, and then the last couple months of 2023, I started using this. There are some big differences, and I want to talk about that for anyone who's struggling with hair loss and confused between the two, because it's kind of hard for me to even find this information online when I was looking for it. And I'm going to give you the esthetician opinion as well as my personal experience with these, and specifically some of the things you need to know if you're thinking about getting either of these. And that's the first thing, is never pay full price. Never, ever, 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 ever pay full price for these. Even Dr. Dre had a coupon code back in 2020 when I was first contemplating getting this. And there are tons of coupon codes out there, but you also don't have to use a coupon code if you don't want to, because these are sold on Amazon as well. Here's the thing, regardless of which one you get, on Amazon, they're not always on sale, but they go on sale quite regularly. So like add it to like a watch later. What is it? A wish list? Is that what Amazon calls it? It's like a wish list. Add it to an Amazon wish list and look for it to go on sale, and don't get it until it does. And then if you get it from the website, again, they usually have coupon codes. Honestly, you can just Google Irestore coupon code and try to find one. I'll leave any that I know of in the description. But if you buy it from the website, you can sometimes get things like free shampoo or like free gummies. And oh, I've eaten a lot of the gummies. I'm actually trying new supplements right now. I'm not taking the Irestore gummies anymore. I'm doing the beYoutiful supplements, and I'm about 45, a little bit more than 45 days in. And that's one of the big differences as well, is that beYoutiful does not regrow your hair. Irestore is FDA cleared, and both of these helmets, yes, actually can help regrow your hair, whereas the beYoutiful is just for longer, stronger, healthier hair. But again, with my hair loss issues, I'm trying to do as much as I can, as quickly as I can, to prevent losing my hair and then grow it back to what it used to be. And even look at some of these old videos from my YouTube channel, like 4 or 5 years ago, before all the stress, before hit the fan, before, you know, my life totally changed. I just look at that hair and I'm like, I know this is possible for me. I was on a plant-based diet in these videos and my hair looked amazing. And I've been checking my blood levels, my thyroid, vitamin D, etc. All of my blood and my nutrient levels are normal. And yes, the stress that I've been under for the past 2 years has been immense, especially in like the past year specifically. It's been absolutely treacherous, but usually hair loss that comes from stress grows back relatively quickly, and mine hasn't. And that's why I am just doing everything that I possibly can for it, because it is so terribly emotional. So that's the first thing, is the price. The Elite is twice as expensive as the Pro, but again, always get it on sale. Never, ever, ever pay full price. The second major difference is how they are used. They come with either a battery pack or you can plug them into the wall. I personally have the battery pack for the Pro and I love it. The battery pack, it also works for the Elite, so you can plug it in with any device. And I honestly just attach this on, I make sure it's charged, and I can use the Irestore helmet while doing laundry, reading a book, washing dishes, doing things around the house, even walking on a treadmill. Like, it makes it so versatile, which I love. The problem was I had to use this 3 times a week for about 25 minutes each, right? That was very hard for me because doing something 3 times a week was hard for me to build a habit around. Whereas this one, you only use it for 12 minutes a day. Honestly, I've even done this twice a day sometimes. And this is one that you do every single day. And this has been better for me personally, just from the standpoint of habit building. I could use this more than 3 times a week, but if I used this 3 times a week, I might forget and I'd be like, oh, it's been 2 days, or it's been 5, you know, like life happens. Whereas this, if I'm like, okay, every single time that I wake up and brush my teeth, I'm I'm going to have this on while I'm brushing my teeth as a part of my morning routine. And then I could literally just walk over to the kitchen, start making food, breakfast and coffee, and I can literally have this on my head. So for me, I really prefer this, but you know your schedule better than I do. Are you someone who wants to do something 3 times a week and like you can tie this to a habit and wear it for 25, so basically almost a half an hour? Or are you someone who's like, no, I need to just use this as a part of my morning routine? That for me is a big determining factor, because if you don't use these, they won't work. I actually need to talk about what happened when I stopped using my Irestore. Again, life fell apart. I don't want to talk about it because it still makes me sick to my stomach. Someday I'll be able to talk about it, hopefully. But what happened when I stopped using it? And then what happened when I restarted, because this is much more powerful and I saw much, much, much faster results with this than I did with this. And the reason for that is probably because of how many little lasers and LEDs are in here. There's also a single wavelength versus a triple wavelength, and all of that also factors into the price, which is probably why this is twice as expensive. But let's talk about that, because you might not need the twice as expensive one. So this original one, when I first started using it, I wasn't sure if it was working. Again, Dr. Dre had gotten me on it and I started using it. I noticed hair loss in like the first half of 2022. It was really, really setting in and I was stressed. But when I first started using this, obviously it takes time to regrow hair from your scalp, but it took a couple months before I realized, oh, if I am consistent with this, it does work. I felt like it took about 6 months. And then it was November of that year that I started talking about the things that Dr. Dre made me try and buy and how much I love it. Here's the problem, is that once the world started to open back up with COVID ending and everything, I started traveling a little bit and I put this in my suitcase and it got super scratched up. So that was something that was really, really disappointing for me, which is also why I got the little Irestore helmet holder. This actually works for the Pro or for the Elite, so you could use it for either of them. Problem is, you guys, my cat barfed in this. And I left it open. Thank God the helmet wasn't in there. I'd be so upset. I need to figure out how to clean it. But this thing is amazing. And it's a little add-on. It's a carrying case, but I absolutely love it. And if you are going to get either of them and you're someone who travels, this is something I would recommend. Now, if you're someone who doesn't travel a lot, you don't need it. If you're not going to be putting that in your car or bringing it from home to the office, you don't need it. Just, you know, if you're spending so much on something that you love, don't let it end up like this, because this is what happened to me. It got way too scuffed up in my suitcase. But let's talk about some of those specs, specifically the laser and LED. So both of these are FDA cleared. And again, this isn't just red LED light, it's laser plus LED. And this has been shown not only in skincare to help with things like decreasing inflammation and increasing collagen production, but there's also studies showing how laser and LED can literally regrow hair. And there's so many before and afters of people who have had great experiences with it, but there's also medical data and science showing that certain wavelengths can penetrate into the skin, which includes the scalp as well as the rest of the body, and do amazing things for the body. Also, at-home laser, not something you can do. Like, you need to be laser certified, and that's why I can only do laser in clinic with doctors or derms. But because this is FDA cleared for at-home use, yes, this does have lasers in here that you can use at home. Now here's the thing, lasers, one of the reasons that they're so dangerous is because they can cause severe damage to eyes, etc., especially if you point a laser in your eye. But this is something that Irestore does really well, is that the second you take this off your scalp, there's these little pressure pads in here, or cushion pads, they're like comfort pads. This thing turns off so that you can't damage your eyes. And even when you're wearing it, the light doesn't really get into your eyes. Let me actually turn this one on and I'll show you. The laser doesn't really get into your eyes, but I've wanted so many times to like show the camera how this thing works and like show it on the inside, and I can't, because every single time I take it off my head, the cushion pads sense that it's not on my head anymore and it turns off. I get that it's a safety feature, but still, okay. And as you can see, this says 12 minutes. This right here is the long cord that you plug into the wall. I found that both of the cords, for the white one, which is the professional one, as well as the black one, the elite one, the cords are both very long. But for my white professional one, I had gotten this battery pack. I love this. This is almost a necessity in my opinion, and that's why I like to get it always on sale, but I like to get it on the website because you can get coupons or discounts on some of the add-ons, whereas if you were to buy this on Amazon, I think you have to buy them separately. But this allows you to clip it to a belt, to your shirt. Look at this cute shirt, by the way. This allows you to clip it to wherever, and you can literally use this while you're on the go. So you could use this while driving, which yes, I have done. You could use this while brushing your teeth, walking from room to room, whereas if you're someone who has a really good reading schedule, if you read books, first off, I'm jealous. I love reading. it's hard with habits, okay? But when it's plugged into the wall, it's really good if you're doing something where you're sitting down for that period of either 12 or for this one, 25 minutes. Now, while they both have laser and LED, they do have a different amount. And again, this is going to stop the second I pick it up. But this has over 500 LED and laser diodes, whereas this one has, is it 288 or 282? As you can see, like on the inside, there is a major difference. And you can see how this one has a ton more. Now, not only does this have more in quantity, but they're also more powerful. This one uses 2,500 milliwatts of power, whereas this one uses 1,410. So again, almost twice the price, but almost twice the power as well. And in that, there's actually 3 different wavelengths in the Elite one, the black one, whereas this one only had 1 wavelength. Now, that's totally fine. Again, this still works. If you want this, if it's within your budget, or if you already have this, it is great. But it does have less power, less diodes, and you use it in a different manner. Again, 3 times a week instead of once a day. And so based on your budget and your needs, this is still a great option, but I will say I can feel the power with this one. When I first started using the Elite one, it came out in October of 2023. I was actually surprised. I was like, my scalp is getting warm. Why is it warm? It doesn't hurt, but like I've used this for years and it doesn't get warm. This I can actually feel. I can feel it right now. It's like a light warming sensation and it's not tingling. It's not bad, but I can feel the power. Like this is some powerful stuff. Whereas with this one, I actually didn't feel it at all. And with the 3 different wavelengths, that also matters when it comes to red light. So remember that light is found on the electromagnetic spectrum, and a section of that electromagnetic spectrum is visible light. That visible light is what you and I can actually see. But as you can see, there's all this other stuff out here that we just can't see visually. But in that segment of visible light, there is that red wavelength. Those red wavelengths are the ones that have been shown to stimulate collagen in the skin. They're used in LED treatments for wound healing. And again, we know this medically, but they can help decrease inflammation in the skin, and all of this works in the scalp as well. So this has a single wavelength of 655 nanometers, which is right in the middle of that red. That's fantastic because it penetrates deep into the skin, helps with collagen stimulation, helps with anti-inflammatory benefits, basically taking down inflammation, and helps to stimulate blood flow and circulation. But this one has 3 different wavelengths. It has 620, 655, and 680. So it's more of a spectrum of red light. Now, some of those wavelengths actually penetrate a little bit deeper. Some of them are more surface level. And what that means is that it can actually stimulate the hairs that are growing closer to the top of the skin and those that are deeper in, because yes, we have hair follicles and they look the same to us, but on a microscopic level, there are some hair follicles that are larger or deeper than others. That's just anatomy, that's just us. And what's great about the 3 different wavelengths is that you're getting all 3 of those instead of just one. Again, this one is the 655, it's smack dab in the middle, but this one, it's like you're getting the smack dab in the middle, but also the low side of the spectrum and the high side of the spectrum. Now, what does that mean? Well, we have to look at all of those things together. We have to look at the amount of power, the amount of diodes, and then those different wavelength options versus a single one. That is why I think this has worked so much faster. And when I went to the Korean hair loss clinic, I went in June of 2023 and I got my scalp looked at under a microscope, and they could see like a lot of scalp inflammation. Now, I went back in early January, it was like January 2nd, 3rd, or 4th in 2024, and we looked at my scalp again under the microscope, and they literally said, you have new hair growth, both baby hairs and regular hairs. This is amazing. They also said that my scalp inflammation is way down, but my dandruff was way up. I need to bring you a video on the Korean scalp clinic because it was insane. If you actually haven't seen that, you have to make sure that you're subscribed and hit all, because sometimes I post things and the YouTube algorithm just doesn't recommend them. And if you're looking for any of those videos or you're interested in like the before and after timeline of my hair loss photos, I'm gonna share that in a different video with the Irestore and with the other things I'm using. If the algorithm doesn't decide to favor it, or if the thumbnail isn't dramatic or shocking enough, YouTube won't promote it. So the way to actually see those is to hit subscribe and hit all. And if you don't want to, don't do it. But if it's something that you're interested in and you don't want to miss, just let me know that's coming. But when I saw underneath the microscope how this new baby hair was growing, again, I was shocked. And at that time, I was only like 30 days into my Nutrafol. And again, Nutrafol does not help you regrow hair. It helps grow stronger, healthier hair, but that didn't impact the literal millimeters of new baby hair and new regular hair growth that I had. And this was really the only thing that I've been using for my hair loss. In the past, I've used different serums, and I'm going to try to put some new serums in. I'm also considering scalp microneedling, but I haven't done any of that yet. So because of all that, I've kind of isolated my variables, and this is the only thing I've really been using for the last half of 23 and the early parts of 24. And just literally seeing in Korea these little images on the screen, oh my God, I was so happy. I was even telling the doctor, like I could nearly cry. Like, this is amazing. And because this Elite helmet was the one variable that I had used in my routine, and I know that it's FDA cleared to actually regrow hair and to stimulate new hair growth and help you hold on to your hair, I was just like, oh, it's working. And I did bring this to Korea with me again. I brought it in my little helmet holder before my cat barfed in it. That's the other thing I love about both of these, is that they both fit inside of the carrying case, and they also both work with the battery. Something I hate about a lot of other brands, and this goes for like, you know, beauty tools, this goes for iPhones and chargers, everything. They will make a different charger for the different device. And I'm like, can you please just make a charger that works for my phone, my laptop, my skincare tool, and like something else that I need? Like, why does it have to be different all the time? And I believe that a lot of brands specifically do that to try to make more money. And Irestore, they could have made a separate, you know, hair helmet holder that only fits one and not the other, or they could have made like a separate battery pack that only works with the white professional one versus the black elite one. But I loved that they actually cared enough to say, no, if you already have this, you can use it with the elite, or if you already have, you know, the helmet holder, it works with both. And that's something that I respect so much, because it's like, it makes me feel like they actually care about me as someone who struggles with my hair loss and is already invested in the company. They're not like trying to swindle me into buying more useless. Even the charger, like when you get either of them, they come with a charger that you plug into the wall. And I have the one for the Elite, which is right here, but this still works for the Pro. And my Pro one still works for the Elite. And that's fantastic, because a lot of brands, they won't do that for you. The other thing that matters so much to me is that they have these little comfort pads that I told you about. These comfort cushions basically help it be comfortable. And then I think they have some sort of sensor that knows when you're wearing it or when you're not, so you don't burn your eyes out with a laser. But they will literally give you new ones of these for free if they don't fit. They have small, medium, and large ones depending on your head shape. And I didn't know this. I actually was using the professional one, and it was kind of sliding around my head a little bit. And it was someone in the comments who said, you know that they give you free pads if it doesn't fit, right? And I was like, well, it does fit. But I realized, oh, you know, maybe I could use a different pad size. Maybe my head is a little bit smaller than like a large man's. And I thought about that, and I was like, yeah, a man who has a very large head might need a different size than a female like myself, or someone who has a really, really tiny head. And what's amazing is that if you have a really, really tiny head, they will send you the large pads for free, so it fits really nice and snug but comfortably. Or if you do have a gigantic head and you still need a little bit of cushion but not much, they'll literally send you the smaller ones so that it fits your head perfectly. And when you're spending over $1,000 to regrow your hair, yeah, they better have that kind of customer service. But learning about that was just really amazing and makes me feel like a brand actually gives a about my hair loss journey and about how emotional it can be, and is at least trying to help me through it. Since I've already invested in them, they're like, hey, we want to make sure that your device actually works for you, works long term, and that you can mix and match things if you upgrade. That's the other thing, is that both of these helmets go down to the back of the head. A lot of the little hair regrowth caps, they only do the top. And if you just have like the Christmas tree or like the bald spots here, that's fine. But I literally had a bald patch that showed up in the back of my head. And I literally have like some thinning right back here. And it's gotten so much better. I know you can't hear me, but like it's gotten so much better. But also it's because it literally has this back portion on both of them. So at the end of the day, we've spoken about the specs. I've spoken about how I use them differently in my routine and my experience using one for 12 minutes a day versus 25. And also like the feeling of like, hey, it's a little bit warm with this one. But if you're considering these, which one is right for you? Here's the answer. This one works perfectly fine. It's half as expensive. It's amazing. It's less powerful and it doesn't have those multiple wavelengths. So I feel this does take a little bit longer, but if you're budget sensitive and you're stressed about your hair, or you know someone that is, this is a perfectly fine choice. This is a great option. It's still FDA cleared. It's still very powerful. It worked for me for 2 years. Now, that being said, I am so glad that I did upgrade. For my routine and for my needs, I personally like this better. I can be an impatient little I walk around the house, and if I don't do something every day, it's hard for me to build a habit out of this. I like the color better too, because if my cat barfs on it, if I scratch it up, you can't see the damage, right? But for me who needs to use that every day, this is quick, it's easy, and it works for my lifestyle. It's also a little bit more powerful, and just because you feel it doesn't mean it's working better or worse. But I grew up in an era where we would use scrubs on our face, and if it didn't burn, we felt like it wasn't working. I know that's completely psychological. It doesn't actually have anything to do with the efficacy of the product, but actually feeling that warmth on my scalp is something that's pretty nice. Now, if you're someone who is constantly having hot flashes, or you're at a place in your life where you hate warm things on your head, this one, anecdotally, I felt heat up just a little bit, Whereas this one, I didn't feel it heated up at all. So this one might work better for someone who runs really, really hot, like you're getting hot flashes all the time and you need to stay cool, versus if you're like me and maybe you freeze all the time or your body temperature just runs lower naturally. The little warmth, especially if you're doing this early morning when it's cold outside and the sun hasn't even risen, oh my God, it feels so good. It's like a little hug for my brain. I also feel like this did work faster. Again, after trying this for 2 years and seeing results over those couple of months, look at the Korean hair loss clinic before and afters. From not even full October, this came out mid-October. So literally maybe a week in October plus November, December, as I was getting my life back together. And then I saw the Korean hair loss clinic on January 4th, 2.5 months. No, 2 months and like a week. And I saw this amazing brand new hair growth. Unreal. That was much faster than like the 4, 5, and 6 months that it took me to see results with this. So everyone's situation is different. Everyone's budget is different. Everyone has different needs. For me, I'm in love with this. I love this. I might even retire this one. No, I'll probably I don't know, should I retire it? Should I give it to like my dad or something? Should I give this or should I keep it? I absolutely love this. It is such a great tool, but I am very, very happy with this one. And again, with either of these, never pay full price. Do not pay full price. Just always, always, always get it on sale. Like add it to a watch later playlist. Make sure that you have a coupon code. I will again leave the ones that I know of that I have. But if you don't want to use that one, use Dr. Dre's. Google it. Use one that you find on the interwebs. Just make sure that you're not paying full price and that you are getting what you need. And that's why I hope this video is helpful, because when I first tried this, Dr. Dre gave a great review as a dermatologist, but you know, there weren't 2 devices to compare at that time. And she didn't really share a lot about her personal routine in using it, like brushing the teeth or the need to sit down and have it be plugged into a wall versus a battery pack to walk it around. And I wished that I had the information that was here in this video, even understanding the nuances of the LEDs or the comfort cushions or the different wavelengths. And that's why I wanted to share this with you, so that if anyone out there is struggling with their hair and has been thinking about this but wants an honest, unsponsored, and truly tested, scuffed up and shipped around the world review, I could give you that based on my experience, both as a medical esthetician and as a professional in that field, but also as someone who's been going through it and just trying to find the right solutions for me. Both are great options, but I do have a personal preference. I would love to know what you think. And again, I have been open about, I'm now starting to do Nutrafol. I'm considering adding a whole bunch of scalp serums. I'm considering microneedling my scalp. If there's anyone out there who's struggling with hair loss, like as a girl, I was not expecting to start to go bald in my late 20s, okay? That was just not something that was on my life bingo card. And that started happening a few years ago. And there are some women who speak about postpartum hair loss, but like it has been difficult to connect with some people because either it doesn't seem like it happens to everyone, or the people that it is happening to, they don't want to talk about it, or it's not like long-term and chronic the way I'm feeling like it has been for me. It's something that, you know, it's postpartum or it's post-COVID and then they get better, but I'm like, I'm years in and it's getting better because I'm doing things about it, you know, but it's still not perfect, and it's a long journey. And my hair is still not as long as it used to be, in these videos, and I know I can get it back to looking like that, which is why that is the mission that I am on. All of the information that I have is in the description, as well as those medical studies on LED. So if you want to see how the science of LED wavelengths actually work for the skin and the hair, that is there for you. But most importantly, remember that your hair loss doesn't define you. Your skin doesn't define you. Your body doesn't define you. This beautiful vessel is something that takes us throughout the world. It helps us live and experience every single day. And yes, while there are things we can work on improving on or changing, we can't hate ourselves into loving ourselves, right? So let's love and embrace ourselves and our flaws now, even if we're trying to do things to change the appearance or to tweak them just a little bit. We can still love ourselves in the process. And that's what it means when I say be beautiful both inside and out. It means follow your excitement, align your actions with your morals and values. It means search for that beauty and love yourself and others, even if you're in the process of wanting to change or tweak something, or just enjoying the excitement of life and learning along the way. So stay curious, be beautiful both inside and out, and I cannot wait to see you in this next video. And in the comments with any other hair loss suggestions that you have. Love you guys. Bye.